We're going to do a little bit of a different reading today. I don't know what's going on with you guys, but today's a little bit more of a somber day. Unfortunately for me, it's Christmas Eve, and it's the end of 2025, the year of the snake, where we're shedding a lot of our old patterns and a lot of what doesn't belong anymore. For me specifically, that's been a lot of non-reciprocal connections that I've had. And the reason that I'm speaking about this is because I'm assuming that if you're drawn to this reading, it's because maybe you're dealing with something similar, whether or not it's the same time as me. And during my meditation before this reading, I ended up reflecting on just the concept of suffering in silence. Something that I've done throughout my life. I think I developed that pattern in childhood because that was really the only thing I was able to do. Expressing my feelings didn't get me anywhere. It made it worse. Acting out, same thing. Anger made it worse. And so really the only place left to go was just to suffer in silence. And the more that I expected support from people outside of me, the more I was disappointed when they weren't able to be there for me, or they made it worse by being hurtful or just not showing up. And so I became a person who tends to carry a lot of responsibility and to want to desire to be that support for others in my life. And I thought that by being that person, I would attract people who were like me and who were also able to give support. But ironically, what tends to happen is that when you're the support person, people tend to rely on you for that, and they don't always reciprocate that in real life. So sorry, this lighting's a little weird. My window blinds are open, but whatever. Maybe that's part of the energy, the light peeking through the darkness. So I wanted to focus this reading on kind of the loss of the disillusionment that happens when sometimes we look around our life and we have to face the reality of the truth being that we're in a lot of non-reciprocal relationships and connections. And the other thing I developed during childhood was a pattern of having toxic hope. And I think that happened, because there was nowhere else for my brain to go. Like, I had to endure and I had to find a way to stay sane in that process. And for me, that was just telling myself that there has to be a reason for this, and that one day I'll know what it is and it'll all make sense, and there's always something to hope for. It just kept me sane. But that did turn into a dysfunction later when you are in a non-reciprocal relationship and you're an adult and you have the ability to disconnect, but you continue to gaslight yourself and have hope that this will change over time, rather than facing the uncomfortable truth that maybe it won't, and it's healthier for you to disconnect, even though there's still love there. And a lot of us really value connection enough to tolerate a lot and endure a lot. So the reading I want to do today is on integrating that lesson and what we can do if we find ourselves in that type of situation. So I'm going to pull a pyramid, like an interesting little spread here. Bear with me while I get the cards. don't think anyone's ever done a spread quite like this. I could be wrong, but this was a dynamic that I came up with during my meditation today. So I'm going to show you what it looks like and why. Okay, so this is kind of we have a pyramid on top. This is connection to higher self guidance. And then we've got a pyramid on bottom. This is connection to subconscious and lower self, shadow work type of things. And then in the middle, we have the integration path between the two of these things. So I am going to start from bottom to top. I think it makes the most sense here in this situation. So we have a tower moment happening. I don't know about you guys, but I had one happen on Halloween. This was the loss of what I thought to be a super important relationship in my life. Actually, multiple. My tower moment was the loss of a romantic relationship. I also lost a lot of kind of close friendships around that time. I also ran out of money. Like, it was almost like everything just kind of came crashing down in my life around the same time. And I had no coping mechanisms left to deal with it. But this was actually the destruction of the illusion. It was not the destruction of anything real or permanent in that sense. So maybe you guys had something similar happen recently that just really left you, I mean, feeling like this girl right here, like stabbed, defeated, just at rock bottom, basically, with nowhere to go and nothing left to cope. And, you know, we sit in that for a while, kind of up here in this 10 of Swords energy, which is just feeling stabbed in the back, feeling betrayed, feeling at the rock bottom, feeling loss, and just like you're grieving what was, and you know that there's no going back, but you can't move forward. You're just stuck in the feelings and the processing. And, you know, eventually we get through the bulk of those feelings. Maybe some of those are still there, and we reach for clarity and truth. Ace of Swords represents this clarity and truth that kind of comes when the sun starts coming back out, and when we've had time to ascertain, you know, what feelings are actually from this situation now versus what come from past experiences, past traumas, past, like, how is what happened here familiar to what happened to you in childhood, and how did your way of being lead to this happening. And I'm not saying that it did necessarily. I'm just saying that sometimes we repeat unconsciously these patterns. For me, it was taking too much responsibility inside of a connection and being the responsible one, being the supportive one, and never really receiving that level of support in return. And so ultimately that, I mean, I think leads to facing the fact that maybe in this relationship we were discontent. And when we lose something, whether it be a job or a relationship that's important or a pet or anything like that, it's like you can, when you're in this mode, you can only really feel and focus on what was good about it and what you lost. And you have a hard time remembering, actually, I was kind of unhappy. And actually, like, I remember this really positive memory, but then I also remember that there was really negative experience also attached to that positive memory that I hadn't really thought about. And so it can be helpful sometimes to even just write down, you know, this is the integration between these two, right? Like, this devastating thing happens, you're stuck in these negative feelings, but writing down what was the truth of the matter, like what actually happened, what in the good memories was actually not so good, where were you unhappy, what wasn't quite right, and how was this tower moment actually serving potentially your highest good to lead you to where you are now, which might not be super comfortable, but you have more energy after clearing out all of the BS. You have more energy to focus on yourself and to build things that are truly in alignment for you. Like, for me, it's like I was here well, this happened. I was here. I did some of this. I did some of this. And then I realized, you know what? Like, am I just going to sit around and feel sorry for myself? Or am I going to just start building something? So I decided to start doing these readings because for me, I feel better when I'm actually being of service to something, somewhere, someone, rather than just sitting in my shit, like ruminating takes up a lot of mental energy when I could be tending to my own garden, and or even just being of service to people who I don't even know if anyone's ever going to watch this video, right? Like I hope someday somebody does. But I just have to do what I can do to tend to what's important to me, and that's all you can do sometimes. And ultimately, that's what leads us to the Six of Wands, which is victory. This girl is riding back from battle with victory, and she's proud of herself. She's proud of what she has created. And then that also leads the universe, and all this space that's opens up, leaves space for the universe to gift us with opportunities and with love and with new connections. Like if you refuse to go back to these old, not so good connections that were kind of based in illusion, you have all this space for other more aligned people to come into your life. And this Queen of Pentacles, she is almost like a future version of the Nine of Pentacles. Like she has tended her garden, and the garden is now growing itself, and she is chilling. She's got her bunny here. She's got her pentacle. This is a Capricorn card. I'm a Capricorn. There's a goat here on the chair, and the goat represents like strong and steady wins the race, discipline, not giving up, patience, perseverance. And that's the process here. Right here is the perseverance of what you want to grow in your future. And when we put that energy into what we want to grow in our future, the universe responds. The universe gives back. The universe always magnifies and reflects what energy we're in. So if we stay stuck here, unfortunately, we might end up, the universe is handing us a cup right here, but we can't even see it because we're focused on these empty cups. This one's full, right? And it's being handed to us, but we're just like being a brat, like I can't even see this new friendship or this good thing in my life because I'm so focused on what's not good. So it's like a balance between focusing on what was bad about the past, what was good about it, what's good about right now, what's bad right now, like just facing the truth of the situation and being honest with yourself about the whole thing in entirety can bring a lot of clarity and can clear out space, cut through the BS for you to focus on yourself and to become this Queen of Pentacles who's blessed by the universe. The other important thing I think here about the Nine of Wands in this integration path is, she put up a fence here. To me, this represents in integrating this lesson of attracting non-reciprocal relationships, we learn to set healthy boundaries. And it takes work to build this fence, right? And that doesn't mean people can't come in and out. That just means that there's more steps that you go through in order to ascertain whether someone is meant for your future or not, and whether they're a healthy reciprocal relationship or not. And you can give people a chance to show up in a new way for you or have honest conversations with the relationships you do still have in your life and say, hey, like, or you don't even have to say anything really. You can just kind of withdraw your energy when you notice that, I've shown up for this person 3 times. I showed up and saw them in the hospital. I listened to them about their relationship problems. But when I needed support or I needed someone to show up to something to support me, they weren't there. So, just noticing that doesn't mean you completely have to cut them off, but like taking a step back and realizing who shows up for you and who doesn't. And if you're like me, you might be in a period of time right now where unfortunately there just isn't really anybody showing up yet. Kind of like this girl, right? Like she's looking around, she's got her garden, she's got her tasks, she's got her things she's doing, but she's like, like, where is everybody? Like, well, hello. I'm cool. Like, I'm fun. I'm doing stuff. Like, who wants to hang out with me, right? But bad company is worse than no company. Because no company leaves space for more aligned versions of reality to manifest. And integrating this lesson is facing what wasn't so good, being real with yourself about that, but also not being so focused on what wasn't good that we can't see what is good in the future or in the past, or both, right? Balancing. And then being proud of yourself, like being proud of yourself. You built this fence, right? Like you have integrated this lesson and you've implemented it. And another thing, if you're like me, you might have new people also come in who try to repeat this same pattern over here, and you see it this time. You see it this time. You set a healthy boundary. You create more barriers to entry, and that leads to this victory right here. Queen of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Ace of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. Like, this girl is victorious. She's coming out on top. And sometimes when we encounter these tougher energies in our lives, like whether that be, like narcissism and codependence, push-pull relationships, we have to realize that our spirit is large. Our spirit is built for greatness. A lot of us, if you're watching this video, this is going to sound funny, but there was a song that popped in my head during my shower, and it was Say What You Say by M and Dre. And it's the part where Dre is like, I ain't got to move till I'm provoked. I'm a giant. When I see you, I'm going to step on you and not even know it. Because my spirit is big, and these tower moments can happen. These people can hurt me. But at the end of the day, I know my spirit is big and strong, and I don't have to go take out this trauma on anybody else. I know I can process it in my alone space. I can lean on the people who do reciprocate. And if I don't have anybody, then I lean on God and Goddess and my higher self, higher source connection to support me in this time alone. And I lean into being of service to others who can receive what I have to give. And you don't need to retaliate. You don't need to know that vengeance will come around. However, it tends to actually come around in the end. In that same song, Dre says, and I ain't got to do it with 10 or 11-year-olds. Like, he sold all these albums, right? And we didn't realize at the time maybe what he was talking about, but I don't think that's a coincidence with what just came out about Diddy and who released that tape, that footage, right? It was released by 50 Cent, who is commonly tied to Eminem and Dr. Dre. And I feel like what Dre was saying at that time was, there's other people in this industry who sell a lot of albums, but they're doing it the wrong way. And I'm doing it the right way, and I stand by that truth. I'm saying it now, and we didn't catch on then, but now we're starting to catch on. And how long did that, that album came out in 2000 or 2001. Here we are in 2025. Dre had to sit back for 25 years knowing he knew the truth. He was spitting the truth, and he didn't have the ability to see how that karma was going to play out. But now it is. And we look back at that and we're like, dang, they were telling us that whole time, right? And I don't know, that's just my take on that song, but there's a reason it was popping in my head. So just stay strong, be the giant you are, rest in truth, tend your garden, look out for opportunities from the universe, keep your fence, don't block everybody out, but keep your boundaries strong. And Merry Christmas if you're watching this on Christmas. If not, then just have a beautiful rest of your day. And I hope that this guidance reached you in the perfect time.